Hey there everyone, as you already know, Chapter 9 is already being released in Arknights, and there's lots of new stuff that's being added within this update. So, I'm going to cover all of the new information that you guys will want to know so that you don't miss a single bit. Oh, and also, a quick thing, as you see in this video right now, I'm currently filming my game of Arknights within my own PC, using my favorite emulator of LDPlayer. LDPlayer is a brilliant emulator that is especially optimized for Arknights. I've been using it for over 2 years as my main emulator, serving me no problems. For players, it's a smooth PC gaming experience, and for content creators, it's great for filming your gameplay. I love that this emulator has great customer support as well, and hence, I'm recommending it to you guys. So you can download LDPlayer today using my affiliate link within the description of the video. Alright, let's start off with the elephant in the room, which is of course the release of Chapter 9. There's many of you who have asked me if there's any value to playing this new chapter, especially if you're in some of the earlier stages. So if maybe some of you are still within Chapter 5 or 6 right now in the game. To that, I will answer that yes, there is still a lot of reasons as to why you want to play Chapter 9 right now. Do you need to clear Chapter 8 in order to unlock Chapter 9? No, you don't. To play Chapter 9, you need to play Chapter 3. Once you've cleared off Stage 3-8, there will be 2 stages unlocked at your disposal, which will be Stage 4-1 and Stage 9-1. The reason why that is possible is that these 2 stages or chapters are the start of the 2 acts in Arknights. As you can see, Chapter 9 is part of Act 2 and Chapter 4 is part of Act 1. So you kind of can pick your route here, you can get started on whichever that you want, but of course in terms of the story's chronological order, yes, it goes all the way from Chapter 0 to Chapter 9. Story setting wise, all of Act 1 is about, fighting the whole reunion faction. And in Act 2, we get introduced to another faction of enemies. So this is the reason why it's kind of okay that you play those 2 acts at the same time. If you're concerned about the story's chronological order, like you have been reading the lore, it's okay if you just start Chapter 9 first, you skip out the story, then you follow through with wherever that you are here. Once you've reached all the way to Chapter 8, then you can go and play back all the Chapter 9 stories that you have unlocked and then read them as a whole in the correct order. Now, why do you also want to start Chapter 9 early is because there are new materials that's introduced right here. So, if you look at Stage 9-4, you can see that there are 2 new materials. You have the Tier 3 Semi-Synthetic Solvent and a Tier 4 material which is Refined Solvent. Well, to think that one material is not enough, they introduce another Tier 3 and Tier 4 material. At Stage 9-6, you can find Compound Cutting Fluid, and there's also a Tier 4 one which is Cutting Fluid Solution. You cannot find these materials to be farmed in any of the earlier chapter stages, which is why unlocking Chapter 9 now makes good sense. And if you're thinking to yourself, maybe I can wait for a future event stage to actually farm for these materials, no, you won't see any events with farming stages for the next 6 months at least. Which becomes the ultimate reason as to why you want to play Chapter 9, whether you're an early game player or a mid game player. Now, what is the best farming stage in order to get these new materials? For this particular synthetic solvent that you see right here, there are 2 stages where you can get them. You either get them from 9-4 or 9-18. 9-18 has a very slightly better efficiency than 9-4. However, it is of course a very difficult stage as well, considering the bigger number. If you can't clear 9-18, farming 9-4 is just as good as farming 9-18, and 9-4 is a much simpler stage as well. So that is probably the best stage that you can farm. Pick your poison here, 9-4 or 9-18, kind of no difference between the 2. Then for the other one, which is the fluid solution, the cutting fluid, there's only one stage. One freaking stage that you can get them, which is 9-6. So this becomes the best stage, but even though these are the only few stages that you can use to farm these materials, I gotta tell you that their drop rates are honestly not very good as well. You probably will get them every 1 in 4 or 5 playthroughs. So don't expect yourself to easily get them in your account. You will have to spend a lot of sanity to get your hands on them. Alright, that's that to mention about the materials. Let's move on to the new operators. The new banner that lasts for 2 weeks long features the brand new 6-star operator that is Silek. Silek is a Irish name. I know a lot of people has been pronouncing it as Leech, but I went to search up on Google and apparently that's the usual way to pronounce this particular name. So it's gonna be a little bit hard to get used to, but yeah, we'll have to live with it. So anyways, 6-star Silek, that's the featured rate up, along with the 5-star Mulberry and the 4-star Roberta. Now this banner is honestly very interesting in itself, because there are two new branches that's being introduced. Mulberry is a Wandering Medic, and Roberta is a new supporter branch which is called an Artificer. For how new that they are, I would think that I have to explain what they actually do. So this isn't going to be like a shoot you pull thing, this is just going to be an explanation for these new branches. So let's get to that. Alright, this stage that I'm showing right now is SV2. I'm going to use this stage to showcase the two new branches, which is the Artificer and the Wandering Medic. So for the Artificer, if you notice over here for Roberta, Roberta is a supporter, but she's currently standing on the ground, which is very unique because you don't see that in other supporters. So that's one of the first unique points of the new branch, which is an Artificer. They can be a melee operator, and they have the ability to block 2 units, which is quite strong. Now, Artificers are like summoners-ish. They can summon these items that can be fed onto other allies. So in the case of Roberta, if let's say you feed her modeler, what it does is that it lasts for several seconds, which in this case it stays for 25 seconds after deployment, and what it will do is that it grants increased defense and it gives 1 shield onto whichever ally that is taking it, which is quite nice of a trait to have. I'm quite looking forward to seeing some of the 5-star and 6-star variants that could come in the future based on this branch. But even for Roberta, as someone who can buff defense for allies, I think it's already quite strong on its own. So I'm going to use a skill just to increase her attack. Then, next thing that I want you guys to note is the fact that Roberta is taking this sanity damage right now. I'm going to put the Wandering Medic Mulberry in, and let's feed it to the squad over here. And notice, do you see how that little circle, the sanity damage, just healed on its own? So, this is what we call elemental damage, a new type of damage that appeared in the recent part of the game. There are 3 types of elemental damage in the game right now, and they are sanity damage, so you'll see that in Arknights. Then there's the water damage, so you see that in Dorsal's Holiday. And currently in Chapter 9, you will encounter a new type of damage, which is burn damage. So, Wandering Medics as a new branch, what they can do is that they can actually heal elemental damage that your operators are taking. And that's pretty damn sweet. So as you see here, Roberta, that white little circle that she has just been healed to full, which is honestly very, very strong. And that's something that I really like about Mulberry. You might find her very useful as a late game operator, especially when you're tackling some of the future stages, which introduces a lot of elemental damage. This will become the 4th type of damage that's being seen in the game right now. And I'm quite surprised that AK is innovating, even after 2 years of this gameplay, that they are working hard to introduce these kind of mechanics for us. Now the last thing I want to show to you guys, apart from these 2 branches, is my dear Telopsis here. I don't know if you guys notice it enough, but if you see her range, Telopsis is able to reach all the way until Silek. And this is because she has received a new module that allows her to increase by 1 tile. Yes, there are several operators who have received new modules in this update. So, 2 new branches have received modules. These are the Multi-Target Medics and the Dead-Eye Snipers. That totals up to 7 operators receiving their own little fun additions. I would imagine that this will become quite a lot of your first modules in the game, because the previous time there was Summoners and there was Support Guards, which I think not many people may have built them. This time around, we've got Multi-Target Medics, which there are popular ones like Perfumer, Nightingale and Telopsis, which some of you may have already Elite 2 in your account. So go ahead and feed your first ever modules to these operators to see what nice little buffs were given to them to make it even more fun. Even for operators like Firewatch and Embryo, there are some nice buffs that's given to them in terms of damage and SP recovery that I think can make it so much more fun to use these operators. So that's that for the modules edition. Now back within the terminal again, and I want to explain about a new limited time event that's occurring within this chapter's release. So if you look at the bottom of the terminal, you'll see that there's some blue marker appearing within the supply stages and the main team stages. So what's going on right now is that if let's say you were to play any stage that has this symbol that says limited drop, you will have a chance to get one of 2 items. So you'll either get a Sanity Sampler or a Rhodes Island Supplies. The Sanity Sampler, when you use it, it'll help you to refresh 10 Sanity within your account. And for the Rhodes Island Supplies, you'll either get Tier 2 materials or Tier 3 materials. Yes, for the Tier 3 materials, you might even get yourself the Semi-Synthetic Solvent or that Fluid Solution, the other new material. Now, a lot of people would then be asking me, what stages should I be playing in order to farm these items if let's say I want to farm them? which my answer to you is that it doesn't matter what stage that you play. The probability of getting these items will stack up according to the amount of sanity that you spend. So for example, if you want to farm yourself like 1-7 right now during this event, let's say that the probability of getting this item is 1% and this item is 0.5%. So this is if you spend 6 sanity. Then if let's say you were to choose another stage that maybe says spend 18 sanity, so that's 2 times the amount of the that will be 2 times the amount of 1-7. Then instead this will be 3% because you multiply it by 3, and then this will be 1.5% because you multiply by 3 as well. So it really doesn't matter where you choose to go in order to farm all the materials that you want. Just play any stage that has the limited drop. These items will come to you naturally. Some people might feel that spending your sanity on a lower sanity stage might give you more of these extra drops, but I think it's just like a pseudo effect. You're lying to yourself that it's better when it's actually about the same. So don't worry about it, just spend all the sanity that you want to get all of these nice little extra drops within the 2 weeks. Also during these 2 weeks, there's a new login event that allows you to get a free pinecone skin. So by logging in for 7 days, you get all of these free rewards. On top of the free pinecone skin within this event, there's also new skins that you'll find within the outfit store. So within the Shining Step series, there's going to be an Aketo skin and an Estasia skin for you to purchase. And at the same time, there are 3 operators who got their skins rerun from the Vital Few series, which are April, Suzerain, and Leonhardt. Just like those skins that I've just shown, a new furniture set is also purchasable within these 2 weeks. This new furniture set is the Royal Guard Academy Dormitory, which is very related to the brand new Chapter 9 that we're seeing right now. So if you're someone who's looking for a 5000 ambience dormitory for your max level dorm, or if you customize your own dormitory, then you might be interested to get this new furniture set. Now moving on to the quality of life changes, or if not the user interface changes of the game. So first up is the Chinese voices. A lot of you would have known that there were Chinese voices that's added to Arknights, and it's already come to AK Global within this update. So there are 8 new operators with these voices. It's the ones that you see here, plus 1 more which is Chen herself. So both Chen Outer and Chen receive new Chinese voices. This doesn't mean that the Japanese voices got replaced. In fact, you can still hear them just fine. AK doesn't do it like some other games. When you choose a certain language, all the characters change to that language set. Instead, you can handpick each operator as to what voice you want to listen to. So for instance, if let's say I go to Chen Outer right now, and you click on her operator profile, you'll see at the bottom that you can see the artist name along with the voice actor. So if you click on the plus sign, you can see there's a JP voice and a CN voice. So now, you can choose along whichever that you want, and you can go and listen to a voice. Yeah, you can go ahead and listen to all of their voice lines to see which one that you prefer. Honestly, I know some of you have some biases that you prefer JP voice over like some other voices, but to me, I'm someone who like to listen to things, and sometimes better voices may get into me. So there are certain operators that I have set to CN because I actually do enjoy theirs more than the JP one. For instance, like XA and Texas, I'm currently giving them a try. But if not, if let's say you don't like the voice, you can always switch it back to JP for all that you want. This will be how it's going to be like when we get the English voices as well. In the future, whichever characters that have those multiple voice set, you can probably change them to CN or KR or EN after they have been released. So this is something that I really like about AK, the fact that you can choose the operators individually as to what voice you want to listen to. So that's the first new feature to mention. Then, the next screen that I want to explain is the classes explanation screen. So if you exit this operator profile right now and you come back here, if you click on the classes symbol, you'll see that there's this new explanation that is being popped up right here. It seems like Yostar haven't done their homework. The screen is still left untranslated. As someone who can read Chinese and understand the descriptions right here, I would say that all of the descriptions are done very nicely to actually clearly explain what the 8 classes does. But it's a pity that they're still left untranslated. Hopefully there's a hotfix that's coming soon. Maybe 200 random Yostar for making this change. But yes, this is kind of quality of life. I think this will help especially the new players a lot more. So that's the second change to mention. Another quality of life change that happened within this update is the enemy information. So if let's say you were to click on the stage right now and you click on enemy info, you'll notice that the right side of the screen, the information placement is a little different than in the past. Now, the stats of the enemies and their description plus their skill information is shifted upwards closer to their profile picture. So, This also means that for those with very long descriptions, there isn't like that small bracket of information where the words keep scrolling up and you can't pause it. All of the enemy description is much more clearly placed for us to be able to read what they actually do. Hopefully with this change, it will encourage people to use the enemy intelligence much more so that they can strategize better in their gameplay. I mean, does Ian actually read? The last thing to talk about in the video is the settings menu. So if you observe your settings menu right now, you'll see that on the left, the tabs kind of have a different order. So account is currently the highest tab. And when you're within this one, you guys will probably have seen a new button that appears here, which is the delete account button. I thought that the delete account was a kind of okay feature. To me, the purpose of it could be the fact that there could be a small minority of people who really want to delete their account, maybe because they have like a dwarf account, like a mini side account that they don't really use, that could be at level 10 or 20. So if let's say they want to delete their data and no longer have it in the server, it kind of makes sense to have a button like this. But I thought this was going to be kind of like a password protected thing, whereby when you click on it, you have to key in a certain password in order to remove your data. But that's not the case. When you click on that button, this screen will show up that says delete account, your data will be deleted, and it's unrecoverable. Well, it's recoverable for a period of time. If you did click on this and lose your account, you can contact Yostar customer support. Your account is still retrievable within 2 weeks, but you probably need your account ID in order to retrieve it back, which is why it's always important to screenshot the account ID of yours in the home screen. But anyways, it's not password protected, so if anyone else happened to be in your account, yeah, technically they could just click on this button, which I hate this thing going on right now. So I'm gonna close on it, and there's that. Now, what makes it even worse is the fact that that screen that you just saw is very similar to the logout home screen, which also has the same black cross button and red tick button. So I feel like if anyone happens to be logging out of their account, they might confuse themselves with the logout and delete account button when it's so close to each other. One thing that I hope Yostar can do is to actually split these two buttons apart by putting a bit of a distance between these two options, or if not, shift the delete account all the way down below the terms of section so that people will not accidentally make a mistake in clicking on the logout button. And at the same time, please password protect the delete account. It's not good that, it's not good that people can just anyhow delete it anytime that they want. So that kind of wraps up all of the new things that appears within this update. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. In the next few upcoming ones, there's going to be a video talking about Arknights and Field. There's going to be more operator reviews that's coming. And then there's maybe a new series or two that's coming into my channel. Alright, that's all for today. I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.